Hello, friends. Today we will talk about the boundless ways to Dharma. Often, people have rigid or misinformed notion of the path to Dhamma, and this can be very dangerous and keep someone away from liberation. So, first, what is Dhamma or Dharma? It is a word with many meanings and is frankly speaking indescribable. But that said, it can be understood as the way to liberation and liberation itself. Liberation or Nibbana or moksha or anything else is a state when someone has true direct knowledge of any and all things that are needed and when they are not bounded by anything and have removed all of their suffering. In this, I would like to emphasize the boundlessness. Dharma itself is boundless, and so are the ways to it. Now, let's talk about classifying the methods and the practices. This classification is extremely broad, and each category has numerous practices in it. And they do go into each other and enhance each other. But that said, they can be classified into Dhyan Yoga or the way of meditation, Gyan Yoga or the way of knowledge, Bhakti Yoga or the way of devotion, and Tantra or the esoteric path. Dhyan Yoga. In this, the practitioner meditates to understand the qualities of things, suffering, impermanence, and this then transforms into dispassion and cessation of suffering. The common ways that would come inside of Dhyan Yoga would be Vipassana and Shamatha. Gyan Yoga. In this, the practitioner reads scriptures in which an enlightened being has given discourse and tries to get a direction which then leads to understanding and liberation. Some popular ways would be reading Tripitaka and Gita and so on. Bhakti Yoga. This itself is divided into two paths. One in which the practitioner tries to emulate a Buddha or Bhagwan's qualities, and second in which the practitioner devotes themselves to one and then they help you. The popular ones would be Buddha, Shiva, Krishna, and Vishnu, and there are many ways of devotion. Now, lastly, Tantra. This is the broadest of them and is immensely varied. That said, a kind of a common thread in most of them would be using something external to help in your understanding. Tantra often goes into the other three categories and then supplements them. This would include mantra, kundalini, and so on. Now, we can talk about all of the common and possible paths. Not only is each individual practice by themselves, if done properly and enough, leads to liberation, but also a path can be a combination of them. It could lean towards one practice or category, and that itself could change over while. So, someone could, for example, read the Pitaka and Gita, worship Shiva, and practice Vipassana and Kundalini. At the end of the day, what matters is removing avidya or ignorance and attaining liberation. It's like being hungry and someone saying you can only eat greens or just rice for it. You can do that, it will fill you out, but you can also eat other things. Now, I also want to talk about a very common mistake, that is, people try to separate the dharmic paths into religions like Buddhism or Hinduism and so on. This can also be very dangerous because people can get adamant and then demonize others. But at the end of the day, there is no difference. For example, in Buddhism and Hinduism, in terms of ways they go into all of these categories. In Buddhism, there is Vipassana for Dhyan Yoga, Tipitaka for Gyan Yoga, Mahayana, Pure Land for Bhakti Yoga, and Vajrayana for Tantra. In Hinduism, there is Samadhi for Dhyan Yoga, Gita for Gyan Yoga, there are various Bhagwan for Bhakti Yoga, and Kundalini and Chakra for Tantra. In terms of title, that is utterly meaningless in the first place. Whether you call it a lotus, or a kamal, or Nilambu nucifera, or anything else, it is meaningless. It's just a label that is pointing to the same thing. So, any differences in religion for Dharma are human-made, meaningless, and illusory. So, now you might be thinking, what now? Find your own path. There are very, very few practices and methods that require complete commitment to one, and there is no singular and only path to Dhamma. As long as it goes to liberation, it is a viable path. So, try dipping your toes in multiple ones and find what suits you. And maybe if you are stuck, try something else. Remember, all that matters is removing avidya and achieving Nibbana. Good luck.